Shishi Guru Garanga Gandharvika Giridhari Shishi Radha Vinod Bihari Ju ki jai. Shri Govinda Gopinath Maran Mohan Ju ki jai. Nitya Lila Pravishtam Vishnupar Ashata Rashata Shishimar Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj Shila Gurudev ki jai. Nitya Lila Pravishtam Vishnupar Ashata Rashata Shishimar Bhakti Vedanta Vaman Goswami Maharaj ki jai. Nitya Lila Pravishtam Vishnupar Ashata Rashata Shishimar Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Nityalla Pravishtam Vishnupara Shatara Shatashmar Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj ki jai. Nityalla Pravishtam Vishnupara Shatara Shatashmar Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada ki jai. Nityalla Pravishta Maha Bhagavat Srila Gaur Kishoras Babaji Maharaj ki jai. Nityalla Pravishta Srila Satchidananda Bhakti Vinod Thakur ki jai. Nityalila Pravishta Vaishnav Sarvabhauma Shri Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj ki jai. Shri Rupa Nugagoriya Guru Varga ki jai. Shri Rupa Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath Shri Jeev Gopal Bhatta Dasa Gunath Sharda Goswami Prabhu ki jai. Shri Sarup Damodar Rai Ramanandari Shri Gaur Parshad Vrinda ki jai. Namachaya Shri Haridas Thakur ki jai. Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Shri Kshetra Mandal, Gaura Mandal, Braja Mandal, Mathura Vrindavan Dham ki jai. Sarva Abhishya Pradata Giriraj Maharaj ki jai. Shri Radha Kunda Shama Kund ki jai. Shri Yamuna Devi Ganga Devi ki jai. Shri Tulsi Maharani Vrinda Devi ki jai. Shri Bhakti Devi ki jai. Shri Purnamasi Yogamaya ki jai. Shri Gopeshwar Mahadev ki jai. Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Shri Purushottam Vrat ki jai. Vrat Palan Kari Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Shri Purushottam Dev Jagannath Dev ki jai. Shri Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Sudarshan Chakra Ju ki jai. Shri Purushottam Kshetra ki jai. Shri Golden Volcano of Divine Love ki jai. Srila Bhakti Rakṣaka Śrīdhara Goswami Mahārāja ki jai. Grantaraj Śrīmad Bhagavatam ki jai. Shri Caitanya Bhagavat ki jai. Shri Caitanya Charitamrita ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Samagata Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Shri Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari
Hari Hari
Bo.
Bo.
Hari Bo. Alright, so let me just... What kirtan shall we do today? If anybody's feeling any inspiration, let me know. Otherwise, I'll choose something myself. Something for Mahāprabhu, though, since that's what it's the topic. Oh, wait, 1 second. Okay. 1 second. Which one? Sorry. Okay. Why don't we do this one? Emun Shachira Nandana Bine. I think that's appropriate for today's reading, because this is all about the moods of how Mahāprabhu tasted the moods of Srimati Radhika and how he distributed that thing. And that's what the topic of this chapter is. Tragedy and separation, right? So this is by Srila Premananda Das Thakur. Okay. Except for the son of Mother Shachi, who could have heard about that extraordinarily wonderful thing called prem? Except for the son of Mother Shachi, who could have announced the glorious qualities of the holy names of Krishna? Except for Sri Gaurahari, except for the son of Mother Shachi, who could have entered into the supreme sweetness of the forests of Vrindadevi? Who could have told us about the wondrous glories of the exceedingly sweet transcendental mellows that Sri Radha experiences? 1 second, I just need to fix this. There. Who could have thoroughly understood the amorous pastimes of Vraj, the great Ras Lila, the fundamental truths of paramour love, of Parakiya Prem, the glories of the gopis, and the limits of spiritual emotions. By bestowing the greatest mercy, Sri Nitai and Sri Caitanya have made this blessed age of Kali supremely glorious. They have filled the world with revelations of Prem and its transformations, which are beyond the comprehension of even Lord Brahma. Without discriminating between the elevated and the fallen, they freely embraced everyone. Premananda says, "Embrace that Gauranga within your heart." Oh, he changed it to embrace. Okay, before it said, cradle that Gauranga within your heart. Because dol means to swing. And so I was thinking cradle, like... Yes, Satya Mataji has a question, yes.
No, mine says hold. Hold that Gauranga.
Oh, hold. Huh. Yeah, so dhorya means to hold, but when it's combined with the verb dol, there's something in Bengali called, what is it called? Compound verbs, I think it's called. And it's not something that we have in English, but or maybe we do have it in English, I just don't know of an example. But you mix two words together and the meaning of the word changes. And so dhorya means hold, but then it's combined with dol, and so then it means something else. And literally, dol means to swing. And so dhorya dol, I was thinking meant like cradle. But I'm not sure that was what we were thinking. But anyways, embrace that Gauranga within your heart. Anyways, the meaning is, inside your heart, whatever, like, I guess embrace is kind of like, it's in between cradling and holding. It's like, you know. Okay. Sachiranandana Vine Emon Sachiranandana. I'll do a little high. Vine Emon Sachir Nandana Vine Emon Sachiranandana Vine Prema bolina matiyar bhuta Shuddha hoi to kar kane Prema bolina matiyar bhuta Shuddha hoi to kar kane Emona sachir Nandana Vine Emon Sachiranandana Vine Emon Sachir Nandana Vine Emon Sachiranandana Shri Krishna namer swaguna mahima ke bajanai to aro Shri Krishna namera swaguna mahima ke bajanai to aro Vrinda vipiner মহামধুরিমা বৃন্দাবিপিনের মহামধুরিমা প্রবেশ হইত কার প্রবেশ হইত কার কেব জানাইত রাধার মাধুর্য রস জস চমৎকার কেব জানাইত রাধার মাধুর্য রস জস রস জস চমৎকার তার অনুভব সাত্বিক বিকার তার অনুভব সাত্বিক বিকার গোচর ছিল বাকার গোচর ছিল বাকার ব্রজে যে বিলাস রাস মহারাস প্রেম পরকীয়তা ব্রজে যে বিলাস রাস মহারাস প্রেম পরকীয়তা ও গোপীর মহিমা व्यभिचारी सीमा गोपीर महिमा व्यभिचारी सीमा साई गोपीर महिमा व्यभिचारी सीमा कारयवगति चिरो एता कारवगति चिरो एता धन्य कलि धन्य निताय चैतन्य परम करुणा कोरे धन्य कलि धन्य निताय चैतन्य परम करुणा कोरे विधि अगोचर जे प्रेम विकार विधि अगोचर जे प्रेम विकार प्रकाशे जगत भोरी प्रकाशे जगत भोरी उत्तमय धाम किछु न पाचिल যাচিয়া দিলে কোল উত্তময় ধাম কিছু না বাঁচিল যাচিয়া দিলে কহে প্রেমানন্দে এমন গৌরাঙ্গে কহে প্রেমানন্দে এমন অন্তরে ধরিয়া দোল অন্তরে ধরিয়া দোল এমন গৌরাঙ্গ বিনা নাহি এমন গৌরাঙ্গ বিনা চাই my God চাই এমন সচিরানন্দন Sachiranandana Dine Emona Sachiranandana Dine Sachiranandana Dine Prema Boli Namayati Arbhuta Shuddha Goito Kartane Prema Boli Namati Arbhuta Shuddha Hoito Kartane Hare Krishna Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Jaya Sachinandan Gaura Hari, Sachinandan Jaya Gaura Hari, Jaya Sachinandan Gaura Hari, Sachinandan Jaya Gaura Hari, Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Gaur Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Gaur Hari Bol. Hare Krishna. Okay, so we are continuing our reading now of chapter 5 of Golden Volcano of Divine Love by Srila Bhakti Rakṣaka Śrīdhara Gosvāmī Mahārāja. First we'll do a little recap of chapter 4 and then continue on. Then we'll do Mangalacharan and start our reading. Alright. Let me share my screen again. Okay, so today we'll be reading A Tragedy of Separation. And yesterday we read, let me just find it really quick. Mad Nimai Pandit. I'm just gonna kind of skim through this all. 1 second. Also, if anybody here has any thoughts or anything that they wanted to share from yesterday's reading, from this chapter, Mad Nimai Pandit, feel free to jump in anytime. Okay, so at the time of yes, Kishore Prabhu, yes.
Oh, I just yesterday I asked the devotees to pray for me during the time that I was at the dentist. So I just wanted to let everyone know that thank you, and I'm fine.
Okay, great.
Also there's also the kirtan was that we just sung right now was based on a verse from Caitanya Chandamrita. Can I read that verse?
Yes, please do.
Okay. It's Prema. It's Sri Caitanya Chandramrita, verse 130. Prema naman bhutartaha shravana pata kata kasya namanam mahimnaha ko veta kasya vrindavana vipina mahamadurish praveshaha ko va janati radham paramarasa chamatkar madhurya simam ekash Caitanya Chandraha paramakarunyaha sarvam avishtakara. Had anyone even heard of something known as prem, as the ultimate aim of mankind? Did anyone know of the divine power of the holy name? Had anyone entered the sweet, charming forest of Vrindavan? Did anyone know Śrīdhara as the embodiment of the highest transcendental ecstasy, the personification of the furthest reaches of the sweetness of conjugal love, as supremely worshipful, worthy of the fullest limit of loving adoration? Only due to the absolute compassion of Sri Chaitanya Chandra were these rarest gems discovered, found shimmering in the darkness of Kali Yuga, lit by the moonlight of his benevolence.
Wow, beautiful. I was just, while you were reading that, I was scrolling through, finding, like, seeing, yeah, it's almost all the verses. That was all, yeah, represented. That's a beautiful verse. All right, thank you for that, Kishore. I've never actually heard that verse before, so that was really cool. Okay. So at the time of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's advent, Bengal had fallen far away from Krishna consciousness. The people of the day had become so much degraded that they would pass their time spending money like water. They'd spend their money like water to see the marriage of cats. Deviating from the worship of the Supreme Lord Krishna, they used to worship the serpent goddess Vishahari, or the controller of the demons, Kali. Very rarely would the name of Krishna be heard from their lips. Only a few Hindu gentlemen, when bathing in the Ganges, would chant the holy name of Govinda, Hari, or Krishna. And Navadvip Dham, the place of the advent of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, was under Mohammedan rule in those days. The Qazi was powerful in Navadvip, and the Hindus' religious feelings were checked by the strong hand of his Islamic rule. Advaita Acharya, this chapter was mostly about Advaita Acharya, I'd say, and then about Mahaprabhu's feelings of, like, when he went into more internal, tasting the moods of Srimati Radharani in separation. So, Advaita Acharya was a great scholar and the most senior among Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's followers. He appeared in Navagram in Srihatta in the eastern province of Bengal and resided in Shantipur. Ontologically speaking, Sri Advaita Acharya is the avatar of Mahavishnu, who creates the material cosmos through the agency of his illusory energy. Advaita Acharya is a devotee who earnestly invited Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to descend here as the Yuga avatar to look after the welfare of all souls. He began to worship the Lord with Ganges water and tulsi leaves and invoked his grace, praying, "O Lord, please come and deliver these people. The time has come to relieve them by the distribution of the sweet name of Krishna. Come, my Lord, they are most poor." In this way, Advaita Acharya attracted Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu by pleading the cause of the fallen souls. Of course, the time had come for the advent of the incarnation for this age, the Yuga avatar. But still, Advaita Acharya performs the function of inviting and welcoming Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Yeah, Mahaprabhu really had to come at that time, because if he would have come at this time, that would have been, I don't know, I'm not sure if it would have worked. You know, with all the social media, Mahaprabhu's on live. I think things got a little too materialistic now for for Mahaprabhu's mission to really properly be like, you know. Imagine seeing Mahaprabhu on TikTok. Okay, the advent of Sri Chaitanya. When the Supreme Lord was about to appear, Advaita felt in his heart, my prayer is going to be satisfied. He's coming. I'm going to just skip around now because we just have 5 more minutes before it's time for us to start the reading. So then, yeah, tell the story of, okay, when Nimai was a little grown up, Sri Advaita Prabhu came down and to bow at the feet of the child. And Advaita Acharya, Śrīdhara Gosvāmī explains that whenever he offered pranam to any vigraha where the personality wasn't really present, when the Lord wasn't actually present in the vigraha, then that vigraha would just explode or something like that, right? It would like break into pieces, shatter into pieces. So when everybody saw that Advaita Acharya offered pranam to this Nimai and nothing happened to him, they could understand, okay, this boy is someone very special. Otherwise, he would have died. And Nimai, he stuck his foot on the head of Advaita Acharya. Then explains the pastime of when he would, how he would take things from Śrīdhara Pandit and not give him money. So these like loving exchanges. As Nimai grew up, he used to show Advaita Acharya great respect, but Advaita Acharya could not tolerate it. And so then Advaita Acharya, he began to teach that Gyan is topmost, not Bhakti. Bhakti is secondary, but Gyan is topmost. With Gyan, you don't need to depend on any, you can attain perfection yourself. With Bhakti, you're dependent on the Lord. And so Advaita Acharya wanted to trick the Lord into not showing him respect. So then the Lord, along with Nityananda Prabhu, he went and they went there to Shantipur, and then Nimai started slapping Advaita Acharya. And then Sita Devi, she said, "Why don't kill that old man?" And then Advaita Acharya Prabhu felt great satisfaction. "I have taught you a lesson now. You have come to punish me, but now you are defeated. I have gained victory over you." And Advaita Prabhu began to dance. "Today I have defeated you, my lord. You had to punish me. Where has that formal respect you are always showing me gone now?" In this way, Advaita Acharya rejoiced and offered Mahaprabhu a feast of shak, which is Mahaprabhu's favorite delicacy. Okay. Then many years later, just before Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu began to manifest his final pastimes of divine ecstasy, Advaita Acharya wrote some mystic lines of poetry, which he sent to the Lord through Jagadananda Pandit. And so this is like very cryptic message. "Tell our Prabhu, who acts as madmen do, that everyone has lost their sanity, and rice, once high in price, has no value anymore. In love of God, half-crazed humanity neglects this world, and all that they once held dear. Tell him a madman brings to his ear." Huh? Okay, anyways. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu read this mystic poem, his mood became serious. Swarup Damodar was there. What is written here?" he said. Then Mahaprabhu replied, "I do not know what is the real meaning, but Advaita Acharya is a great worshipper. And a certain class of worshippers are accustomed to think, we shall invite the deity, and for some time we shall try to keep him here for worship. Then, when we are finished with our worship, finally we shall bid him adieu." And you see that that's very common here in Bengal, as I mentioned yesterday in Bengal. You'll see before all these different festival times like Durga Puja and Saraswati Puja, after the worship's performed, then they throw the deity into any pond anywhere, or sometimes they'll just leave the deity out, and it will get destroyed by the weather and like that. Like they just stop the worship. So he's saying like that. Advaita Acharya is that kind of worshipper. He invites me to come, and then he leaves me. He bids me farewell when it's over, the worship. So then Swarup Damodar took the poem, read it, and became very thoughtful. "Oh, Advaita Prabhu is saying that the requirements for Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's appearance have been fulfilled. And now he is no longer needed to preach the holy name of Krishna as the incarnation for this age. The avatar's duty is finished, and so he may go." The last 12 years. After this, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu remains within this world for 12 more years, but not as before. His mood was quite changed. From that day on, he felt great separation from Krishna in the mood of Radharani. Divine madness became predominant in him, and his social connection was almost closed. Ramananda Rai and Swarup Damodar were his attendants at that time. He no longer kept any social connections. The fire within him was burning, the fire of separation. He was absorbed in the Radharani's search for Sri Krishna after Krishna left Vrindavan. In that mood of divine madness, he spent 12 years in a closed room within the house compound of Kashi Mishra. Sometimes at night, unconsciously crossing the boundary wall, he would run to meet Lord Jagannath. Let's just see, there's a comment here. Oh, Haribo Champaktiri. Sometimes at night he would cross the boundary wall and run to meet Lord Jagannath. When Swarup Damodar and his other attendants would suddenly find that no sound of Krishna's name could be heard within his room, they would begin searching. "Mahaprabhu is not there. Where is he?" Sometimes they would find him fallen before the main gate of the Jagannath temple, his legs and hands drawn within his body like the limbs of a tortoise drawn within its shell. A very sweet fragrance could be detected emanating from him, and the cows would flock there, smelling his body. While Mahāprabhu was lying in his trance, he was internally experiencing the pastimes of Radha and Govinda with the gopis in Govardhan. At that time, Sarup Damodar and the others tried their best to revive him from his trance by chanting the holy name of Krishna. When Mahāprabhu was roused, he complained, "What have you done? I was enjoying a most happy experience there by raising a clamor, you have drawn me down here." One day, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was wandering near the seashore. A girl was fervently singing in praise of Lord Jagannath. She's singing Gita Govinda, and Mahaprabhu ran straight towards that sound. And he went to embrace that person. But then when Govinda somehow stopped him, and Mahaprabhu said, "Oh, that's a girl singing? Oh, Govinda has saved my life." And then we heard this story about sometimes he would suddenly feel that Krishna is playing with the gopis in the Yamuna. In that mood, he would jump into the ocean, crying, "Krishna!" He jumped there and became unconscious as the waves were playing with him. Finding him gone, the devotees would wonder, "Where is Mahāprabhu?" And headed by Sarup Damodar, they would begin their searching. Once the night was almost over, and they still couldn't find him. At last a fisherman came running, half mad, chanting, "Krishna, Krishna, Krishna." "What is the matter?" Sarup Damodar asked. The fisherman replied, "Every night I catch fish, but tonight I threw out my net and caught something very heavy. When I began pulling it in, I thought it was a big fish, but when I took it on the shore, I found a big human figure, and I went to remove the body from my net. But when I went to remove the body from the net, somehow I touched him, and now I am half mad." Then Sarup Damodar said, "You must have seen our Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu." "No, I haven't. I've seen Chaitanya Mahaprabhu before, and that's not him. He has a beautiful figure. It's not him. It is something else." Sarup Damodar told him, "Anyhow, try to show us where he is." They went and saw the long figure of the Lord, his joints dislocated, lying on the sands, senseless. Sarup Damodar and the others began to chant the holy name of Krishna in his ears until he came to his senses. At that time, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu began to describe the Leela of Krishna that he had seen in his trance. In this way, after Advaita Acharya's poetry was sent to him, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu lived his last 12 years in the mood of intense separation that Srimati Radharani felt for Krishna. Okay, and then Mad Nimai Pandit, then it tells the story of, when Mahaprabhu returned from Gaya, he began showing signs of devotion to Krishna. And everybody said, "Oh my God, this Nimai Pandit's become completely mad." Now he's completely changed after this. He used to be so such a big scholar, and now he's just gone crazy. And the neighbors, they complained to Sachi Devi. They said, "Just see your misfortune. Your son used to be so brilliant, but now he's become mad. You must arrange for proper medical treatment." And so then Sachi Devi, she called for an Ayurvedic doctor, and they filled up a bathing tank with Vishnu oil. And when he went in it, Mahaprabhu, he went inside this little thing filled with oil, and he started playing with the oil. and then Srivas came, and Sachi Devi said, "See my misfortune. Nimai has become completely mad." And then Srivas says, "No, what? You are a very gentle lady. You do not understand how to deal with others. What Nimai has, I want. Your boy has Krishna Prema. I want a drop of that. If only we're allowed to live a few days longer, we shall have the opportunity of seeing many wonderful pastimes of Krishna." Then Nimai said to Srivas, "If you have also remarked that I was mad, then I would have run to the Ganges and given up my life. At least you have understood what I am. That is my solace, Srivas." So before Nimai Pandit went to Gaya, he was a big scholar. When he returned from Gaya, surcharged with devotion, he began to explain grammar again as before, but now he would show Krishna in the grammar. He'd give interpretations on Sanskrit grammar which showed the relationship between Sanskrit and Krishna. And the students were all very attached to learning from him, but they weren't able to get proper, they wouldn't be able to do their exams properly, or, they weren't learning properly. And so then they went to Gangadas Pandit, who was Nimai's teacher when Nimai was younger, and they said, "Please do something about this." And then Gangadas, he told Nimai, he said, okay, call him here. The students called him there, and then he told Nimai that he told them to teach the students properly so that he doesn't hear complaints anymore. And he said that were your ancestors also not Vaishnavas? And they didn't do this. So, anyways, then Nimai accepted. Nimai took the dust of his teacher's feet and told him, "Yes, I shall try to obey your order. By dint of your foot dust, no one can challenge me in scholarship. Don't worry, I shall teach them well." And a few days later, Nimai Pandit began to chant the name Gopi, Gopi, while he was in a trance of devotion. Some big scholars that held a high social position went to him and said, "Nimai Pandit, you are a big pundit, and now you are a devotee. That doesn't matter. But why do you chant the name Gopi, Gopi? At least take the name of Krishna. According to the scriptures, that will bring you some benefit. But you're chanting Gopi, Gopi. What benefit will you get from that? You are mad." Nimai said, "Who is this Krishna? Why should I worship him? He is a dacoit and a woman hunter." And Nimai picked up a stick and chased them away. Later, they began to talk among themselves, saying, "Nimai Pandit has become stark mad. We went to speak something good to him, and he came with a stick to kill us. We are not sons of ordinary men. We have our high social position in society and our family dignity. We shall show him." They began a conspiracy to teach Nimai a good lesson by giving him a good beating. At that time, Nimai suddenly cried out, "I took the greatest measures to deliver these wretched souls, but I see now that they are simply creating more sins by abusing me and conspiring to punish me. Why have I come? What will be effective in delivering them? I shall have to take the role of a sannyasi. Otherwise, they will think I'm simply one of them, a householder. But if I become a sannyasi, a preacher, then they may have some respect. They will say, 'We are all householders. He has become a sannyasi. He should be revered.' Then, from that reverence, they will get some benefit. Otherwise, they'll have to go to hell. They will have to go to hell for thinking that I am an ordinary man. To create some respect so that they may benefit, I shall have to accept the role of a sannyasi." And he revealed to Nityananda Prabhu and a few others, "On the last day of the first month of this year, I shall take sannyas." So today we'll hear about when Nimai took sannyas. So let's do Mangalacharan and then we'll start. Sorry, I'm not very good at summarizing things, so I ended up just reading most of it. 1 second, what am I doing? Here, let's go. Okay, I'm just reading, we're just going to do a few verses. Ajnanatirandhasya jnananjana shalakaya chakshurunmilitam yena tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Guruve Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadbhaktaya Namo Namaha. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Ajanulambita bhujo kanakavadato Sankirtanaika pitaro kamalaya Vishwambharo Dijavaro Yugadharma Palo Vande Jagat Priyakaro Karunavataro Namastrikala Satyaya Jagannatha Sutaya Cha Sabhrityaya Saputraya Sakalatraya Te Namaha. Okay, now let's do this verse for this prayer to Jagannath Baladev and Subhadra Devi. Nilachala Nivasaya Nityaya Paramatmane Balabhadra Subhadrabhyam Jagannathaya Te Namaha. And this is what we're supposed to recite every day throughout the month of Purushottam, this verse. Govardhana Dharam Vande Gopalam Goparupinam Gokulotsavamishanam Govindam Gopika Priyam. I worship the lifter of Govardhan, Gopal, who has the form of a Gopa. He is the festival of Gokul. He is the supreme controller of all, and he is Govinda, the beloved of the Gopis. Tavaivasmi, na jivami tvaya vina, iti vigyaya devi tvam nayamam charanantikam. Bhaktya vihina aparada lakshai, kshiptashtakama ditaranga madhye, kripa mai tvam sharanam prapanna vrinde namaste charanaravindam. Bhaja Shri Krishna Caitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Okay, so let's see all who's here. First of all, everybody here on Zoom, Gayatri Didi, Satya Mataji, Kishore Prabhu, and Champak Didi, and whoever this is watching on their iPhone, Haribo. Oh, you said that was a good summary? Thank you. Thank you. And now let's see on YouTube, we have Vidya Lalasa Didi, Raseshwari Mataji, Prajumna Prabhu, and Indira Mataji. And on Facebook, Sudevi Didi and Govinda Saha. And there are some others there, but I can't see your name. So anyways, Dandavat pranams to all of you. Thank you so much for joining. All right, so let's continue on now. I don't know, this is a very long chapter. It's like 9,000 words, I think. And so I'm probably only going to make it halfway through this chapter. But I just wanted to see how far we would get to by, like, let's say 8:20. We'll read for like how long? I don't know, maybe 35 minutes, I think. That's how long we'll read for. Okay. A tragedy of separation. Okay, so the last sentence. Mahāprabhu revealed to Nityananda Prabhu and a few others, on the last day of the first month of this year, I shall take sannyas. Now, a tragedy of separation. According to the solar calculation, it was on the day of Makara Sankranti, an auspicious conjunction of the stars, that Nimai Pandit went to Katwa to take sannyas, the renounced order of life. Haribo, Nri Hari Prabhu, and Pavatarani Mataji, Hare Krishna. Oh, that's who was watching on the iPhone. I got it. Cool. All right. Okay, so yeah, on Makara Sankranti, Nimai Pandit went to Katwa to take sannyas. After this, he would become known as Sri Caitanya Mahāprabhu. He swam across the Ganges and, in a wet cloth, ran towards Katwa. Just before this, he told only a few of his friends, including Nityananda Prabhu, Gadadhar Pandit, Mukunda, and others. He said, "The time when I'll take the robe of renunciation is very near." Just a few days before this, an opposition party had been raised against Nimai Pandit. Those who believed that material nature is the highest principle and that consciousness is a product of matter, they began to abuse Nimai Pandit. He thought, "I came to deliver the lowest of men, but if they commit offenses against me, there will not be hope of their upliftment." Suddenly he said, "I came with that medicine which gives the greatest relief, but now I find that their disease is rapidly growing worse and seems beyond treatment. It will take its own course towards doom. The patients are committing offenses by abusing their doctor. They are making arrangements to insult me. They take it that I am a family man, their nephew. They take me as one of them. I came with the best medicine for the present degraded age, but now I find that they are plotting against me. Now they are doomed. At least I have to show them that I am not one of them." He thought, "I shall leave family life and take sannyas and wander from village to village, town to town, preaching the holy name of Krishna." That was his decision. And within a few days, he went to take sannyas at Katwa from Keshav Bharati Mahārāja. Just the day before he left to take sannyas, from the afternoon until the evening, there was a spontaneous gathering of devotees in the home of Nimai Pandit. Every year in Bengal, that day was celebrated as Lakshmi Puja, the worship of the goddess of fortune. I guess Makara Sankranti was celebrated as Lakshmi Puja, when special cakes are prepared and distributed. Nimai, knowing that early the next morning he'd leave Navadvip to take sannyas, attracted his followers in such a way that almost every leading devotee came to see him that evening. The Hare Krishna Mahamantra. They came with flower garlands and many other offerings to be presented to the Lord. Nimai accepted their garlands and then placed them on the necks of the devotees who gave them. Only 4 of his most intimate devotees knew he was leaving. The ordinary devotees did not know this. The ordinary devotees did not know this. They didn't know that this would be the last night in Navadvip. I don't know why I'm having such a hard time reading. They didn't know that this would be his last night in Navadvip. With his own hands, he garlanded the necks of the devotees and appealed to them. He said, "Always chant the name of Krishna. Under no condition should you give up this Krishna Nam. And do not do anything else. While working, eating, sleeping, or walking, day or night, in whatever you do, continuously take the name of Krishna. Always talk about Krishna, nothing else. If you have any real attraction to me, then don't do anything without chanting the name of Krishna." Cultivate Krishna consciousness. Krishna is the origin of us all. He is our Father. We have come from him. The son who shows no gratitude towards the Father is sure to be punished, birth after birth. Always chant these names of the Lord. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. No other religious principle is required. Chant Hare Krishna. This is not an ordinary mantra, but this is the Maha Mantra, the greatest of all the great mantras, the very essence of all the mantras known to the world. Only take to this, always. No other prescription is to be followed. Remember your Lord, your home. This is a foreign land. You have nothing to aspire after here. Try to always go back home, back to Godhead. In this way, the Lord spoke, and all his devotees intuitively came because it was Nimai Pandit's last night in Navadvip. The Lord and the Fruit Seller. Late at night, one devotee named Kolabecha Śrīdhara arrived. He used to make trade on the plantain tree and its fruit. He would sell the fruit, ripe or green, and the big leaves, which are used as plates. Sometimes Nimai would pay him less for his fruits than what they were worth. And sometimes he would snatch the best fruits from him. He would just steal from him. Śrīdhara came to see him late at night to offer him a choice pumpkin. And Nimai thought, "I have spent almost my whole life snatching so many things from him. And now, on this last night, he has brought this wonderful pumpkin. I can't resist." He asked Shachi Devi, "Mother, Śrīdhara has given me this pumpkin. Please think of how it can be prepared." At bedtime, someone came with some milk. Nimai said, "Mother, with this milk and this pumpkin, please prepare some sweet rice." So Shachi Devi prepared some pumpkin sweet rice, pumpkin boiled with milk, rice, and sugar. Oh, with rice. I didn't realize there was rice in that. That is called luki. I thought it was just pumpkin and milk. It was loki and milk. I don't know. Let's see. Okay, I guess. Late at night, at about 3 o'clock in the morning, Nimai went away. He left Vishnupriya Devi asleep in bed. His mother Shachi Devi, sensing what was to come, was staying awake all night, guarding the door. Nimai bowed down to her. So about 3 o'clock in the morning, Nimai went away, and he left Vishnupriya Devi asleep in his bed. His mother Shachi Devi, sensing what was to come, was staying awake all night, guarding the door. Nimai bowed down to her and went away. And like a stone figure, Mother Shachi Devi sat there by the gate as Nimai left. She could not say anything, but was struck dumb. A little after 3 o'clock in the morning, Nimai swam across the Ganges and in his wet cloth went straight to Katwa, a distance of 25 miles. He reached there by 9 or 10 o'clock. There he approached Keshav Bharati to take sannyas. Mother Shachi's sadness. In the early morning, the devotees came to see Nimai and found Shachi Devi like a statue sitting at the door. The door was open. Everything was empty. "What's the matter, Shachi Devi?" they asked. She told them, "Oh, I was waiting for you devotees. You take possession of the house. I shall go somewhere else. I cannot enter this house any more. You are his associates. You are the true heirs. You are the true heirs. Take possession." They began to throng around her and console her. "You will go? What about the young wife he left? The girl is only 14 years old. Who will protect her? You cannot shun the responsibility given to you. It is on your shoulders." In this way, they came and consoled her and tried to give her some hope. Suddenly, the devotees heard that Nimai Pandit, Sri Gauranga, had left Navadip. They learned that he had gone to Katwa, to Keshav Bharati's ashram to take sannyas, bidding goodbye to the people of Navadip forever. A dark shadow came down. Many began to weep and cry for him. Many of them ran towards Katwa. Nimai Pandit was an unprecedented scholar with beautiful features, tall, fair, and benevolent. He had already made the people mad with the holy name of Krishna. He had released the two great sinners, Jagai and Madhai, from their nasty life. He had checked the Mohammedan ruler, the Qazi, who had broken the Mridanga drum. As a famous Pandit, he had defeated many scholars who came to conquer Navadip, which was very much renowned for its high culture of learning, especially of logic. At that time in Navadip, logic, Nyaya, worship of material energy, Tantra, and official Hinduism, Smriti, were in high culture. Navadip was highly renowned for scholarship. If Pandits could not defeat the scholars of Navadip, they would not become famous. They could not become famous. Far away in Kashmir, Keshav Kashmiri had to come to Navadip to get a certificate that he was a Pandit, and he was defeated by Nimai Pandit. Keshav Kashmiri was such a big Pandit that it was rumored that he was the favorite child of Saraswati, the goddess of learning. No one could face him. Still, he was defeated by Nimai Pandit. Effulgent like the rising sun. But Nimai Pandit left Navadip forever and took sannyas because the people of Navadip could not appreciate him. He reached Katwa, where, just on the banks of the Ganges, there was a sannyasi named Keshav Bharati. Nimai went to him and asked him for sannyas. Keshav Bharati suddenly found that his ashram was full of luster. At first it seemed as if the sun was rising before him. He saw that it was a bright person approaching. He rose from his seat and with strained eyes approached in wonder. "What is this?" he thought. Then he realized that the great devotee scholar Nimai Pandit had come. He appeared before him, saying, "I want to take sannyas from you." But Keshav Bharati could not accept Nimai's offer. "I am charmed by your beauty and personality," he said, "but you are so young, only 24 years old. What about your mother, your wife, and your guardians? Without consulting with them, I cannot venture to give you the robe of a renunciation. In the meantime, as it was Makar Sankranti, a famous holiday, many people had come to take bath in the holy waters of the Ganges. They gathered there, and the rumors spread like fire. Nimai Pandit of Navadip has come to take sannyas. Many men flocked there until a huge crowd gathered. affectionate opposition. They all opposed Mahaprabhu's sannyas. Some of them raised their voices in protest. You, Keshav Bharati, we won't allow you to give sannyas to this young man. He has a family, his mother and wife. We won't allow it. If you give sannyas to this charming, young, beautiful boy, we will break down your ashram immediately. It can't be. But Nimai Pandit kept pressing for sannyas. At last, Keshav Bharati asked him, "So, you are that Nimai Pandit about whom we have heard so much? Many big scholars came to conquer Navadvip, the famous seat of learning, and you have defeated them all. Are you that Nimai Pandit?" "Yes," said Nimai. Keshav Bharati told him, "I can give you sannyas, but you must take the permission of your mother. Otherwise, I won't. I cannot do it." Nimai suddenly began running towards Navadvip to ask permission, but Keshav Bharati thought, "He has such a commanding personality. He can do anything." Nimai was called back. Keshav Bharati told him, "With your most extraordinary personality, you can do anything. You will go there, charm your guardians, get permission, and return. Nothing is impossible for you." The ordinary public was very much enraged, saying to Keshav Bharati, "We can't allow you, Swamiji, to give sannyas to this young boy. It is impossible. If you do, then we shall smash your ashram." Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu began performing kirtan, chanting Hare Krishna and dancing madly. And the angry mob grew, sometimes creating a disturbance. In this way, the whole day passed with no decision. The night passed in Sankirtan, and the next day, Nimai's will prevailed, although there was still some opposition. Tears from the eyes of millions. Nityananda Prabhu, along with Nimai's maternal uncle Chandrasekhar, Mukunda Datta, and Jagarananda Pandit, gradually arrived there. And that afternoon, the sannyas function began. Chandrasekhar Acharya was asked to perform the ceremony on behalf of Nimai Pandit, who began to chant and dance and charm the audience. Oh, this is Srila Śrīdhara Gosvāmī Mahārāja's Premadhamma Deva Stotram. Lakshalochana Shruvarsha Harsha Kesha Kartanam Koti Kanta Krishna Kirtanadya Dandadharanam Nyasi Vesha Sarvadesha Hahutasha Kataram Prema Dhama Devameva Nomi Gora Sundaram. This is composed by Srila Bhakti Rakṣaka Gosvāmī Mahārāja. While showers of tears fell from the eyes of millions, he delighted in having his beautiful hair shaved away. Millions of voices sang the glories of Krishna as Sri Krishna Caitanya accepted the staff of renunciation. From that time on, wherever he went, whoever saw him in the dress of a sannyasi cried in grief. I sing the glories of that beautiful golden God, the giver of divine love. Mahaprabhu's sannyas. The scene was at Katwa. 474 years ago, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took sannyas. He was young and beautiful, with a tall figure. He was only 24 and had beautiful curling hair. A barber was asked to shave him and approached him, but then withdrew. The barber could not venture to touch Nimai's body. He began to cry, "How can I remove such beautiful hair from such a beautiful head?" And so many others were also crying aloud, "What a horrible thing is being done here! Who is the creator of this sannyas? Who is so hard-hearted that he created the sannyas ashram where one must give up all that is near and dear and go from door to door, begging, leaving his own friends and relatives, crying helplessly? Who is the creation of the Supreme? Is it logical? Is it a happy thing? It is most cruel. Nimai Pandit was smiling. After the barber was ordered repeatedly, somehow he was forced to shave Nimai's head. At first, he could not venture to touch his hair, saying, "I cannot touch him." But at last, he had to do the service of shaving the beautiful curling hair of the beautiful face of the 24-year-old genius boy. He began with his shears. I don't know what shears are. What's that? Oh, okay. Shears is scissors. Thanks. He began with his shears. Some people could not stand the scene. Some even became mad. In the midst of the weeping, wailing, and crying of the threatening mob, it was done. Nimai Pandit was senseless. After being only half-shaved, he stood up and began chanting in kirtan and dancing in ecstatic joy. After he was shaved, the barber promised, "I will never again shave anyone with this hand. I would rather live by begging. This is my last service as a barber." After this, that barber took up the occupation of a sweetmaker. His name was Madhu. Madhu the sweetmaker. Ultimately, Nimai's appeals pacified the mob, and a little before noon, the inevitable gradually came. The sannyas function was performed. Chandrasekhar Acharya, the maternal uncle of Nimai Pandit, was deputed to take charge of the rituals in the ceremony of sannyas. When the mantra was to be conferred, Nimai Pandit asked Keshav Bharati, "Is this the mantra you will give me? I heard it in a dream." He whispered the mantra in the ear of his guru, who accepted, saying, "Yes, this is the mantra I shall give you." Then that mantra was given. And the name of this sannyasi was not given in an ordinary way either. A most peculiar name came through Keshav Bharati. Krishna Caitanya. None of the 10 names generally given to sannyasis was given to Nimai Pandit, but the name that was given to him was Krishna Caitanya. As soon as they heard that name, the mob began to cry, "Shri Krishna Caitanya Mahāprabhu ki jai! All glories to Shri Krishna Caitanya!" The father of Srinivasacharya was a class friend of Nimai Pandit. On his way to his father-in-law's house, he heard that Nimai Pandit had come to take sannyas. He ran there, and seeing everything, he became dumb. He was devastated, and he went half mad. That's the father of Srinivasacharya. Who's the father of Srinivasacharya? I don't know that. Does anybody know? Kishore? Okay.
Caitanya Das.
Caitanya Das. Oh, interesting. Wow, that's very neat. He ran there, and seeing everything, he became dumb. He was devastated and went half mad. After that, nothing came from his mouth but Caitanya. After he heard the name Krishna Caitanya, whatever anyone said to him, he would only say, "Caitanya." He became mad. After that, his name became Caitanya Das. Oh, okay. His former name vanished, and everyone used to call him Caitanya Das. He could not stand the scene of Nimai Pandit's sannyas. Wow, he never said anything other than the word Caitanya after that point. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, newly dressed in red robes, embraced his guru, and both of them began to dance, chanting the name of Krishna. After some time, the meaning of the name was given. Keshav Bharati Mahārāja said, "Shri Krishna Chaitanya means that you arouse Krishna consciousness throughout the entire world. You have descended to make all people Krishna conscious. So the most suitable name for you cannot but be Shri Krishna Chaitanya." So really, I guess ISKCON means the International Society for Gauranga, right? Like because Krishna consciousness is Krishna Caitanya, the International Society for Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
I heard a story where Srila Śrīdhara Maharaj actually asked Prabhupada, why did you name it Krishna consciousness? Why not Gaur consciousness? And Prabhupada said, that's what it means. Krishna Chaitanya, Krishna consciousness.
Cool.
I don't know where to
Never-
find that story though. I think
Yeah,
I heard it from Pragashatma on Bhakti Zoom.
Okay, neat. That's really cool. The nectarian world. Mahaprabhu was very cheerful, thinking, I am going to relieve so many souls from their eternal misery and affliction. I have promised to deliver the whole world from this ocean of misery and take them to the nectarian world, and now I am going to accept that task. He was cheerful, but everyone around him was diving in the ocean of despair and sorrow. Some scholars stress that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took sannyas from Keshav Bharati, who was a Mayavadi and impersonalist. But although Keshav Bharati may have externally showed himself in that way, it is seen that by coming in connection with Mahaprabhu, he became a devotee. I wonder if that's the reason also why Mahaprabhu said the mantra to him first, before he received the mantra. First, Mahaprabhu wanted to impart something to Keshav Bharati before Mahaprabhu would take that mantra from him. I don't know, it's just just guessing. Otherwise, we may also think that he was a devotee who came in the garb of an impersonalist to help the preaching of Mahaprabhu by assisting him with the social formality of taking sannyas. At that time, all over India, Mayavadi sannyasis had greater recognition than Vaishnav sannyasis, and Keshav Bharati was already situated in that post. Mahaprabhu took the garb of a sannyasi from him for his own purpose, to help his preaching activity. All these things may be explained in different ways. In any case, after Mahaprabhu took sannyas, Keshav Bharati began to sing and dance with Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He joined in Sankirtan and was immediately converted. The Krishna conception, union and separation. Just quickly checking, 1 second. Hari Bol, Govinda Saha, Indira Mataji, Guru Kabir, I don't know who you are. Oh, you're just some spam. Anyhow, okay. Krishna conception, union and separation. In this way, the sannyas of Nimai Pandit took place. What is the meaning of his sannyas? Is it redundant, auxiliary, or a necessary part of spiritual advancement? Is it desirable? Oh, Hari Bol, Jiva Prabhu. Hare Krishna. So, is it desirable? Although apparently undesirable, still it has its necessity. In the Krishna conception of theism, there is a deep-rooted correlation between union with the Lord and separation from Him. Without separation, union cannot be deep-rooted. The pain of separation can enter into the depth of the heart much more than cheerfulness. Such apprehension increases our satisfaction. The greater our want, the greater our satisfaction. This is especially true in love affairs. I mean, it's like that with eating also. Like, the more hungry, the more you're craving something, the more you're craving cheesecake. Then when you finally get the cheesecake, it's just like the best thing in the universe. But so the more the want, the more the greater the satisfaction. This is especially true in love affairs. If there is no necessity of a thing, it has no value. This principle is found everywhere. A glass of water is ordinary, but according to the degree of its necessity, its value will increase. So the degree of necessity is most important. Necessity means separation. Necessity independent of fulfillment is separation, that is hunger. Separation plays the most important part in both Navadvip and Vrindavan Leela. How many years of union were there between Krishna and the gopis? Krishna was only in Vrindavan from the age of 7 years up to the age of 12. Oh, I guess before that he was in Gokul? Yeah, okay. Krishna was only in Vrindavan from the age of 7 years up to the age of 12, so 5 years. Then he went to Mathura. Of course, it is mentioned in the Padma Purana that in peculiar or extraordinary cases, growth should be measured by multiplying 1.5. So when Krishna is 8 years old, he should be considered 12. Okay? When he is 12, he should be considered 18 years of age. So according to his growth, Krishna was in Vrindavan from the age of 12 to 18, but according to his years, from the age of 7 to 12. Okay, that's very interesting. Good to know that. The depth of divine love. He stayed in Dwarka for a long time. Altogether, he lived here on this earth for 125 years. After he left Vrindavan at the age of 12, the pangs of separation were felt by the gopis throughout their whole lives. Their long, long separation has made their devotion so dignified. The test of separation shows whether love is real. Such a long-standing separation and such a great test has never been found in history. Still, the depth of their love did not diminish. Rather, an inconceivable, ever-increasing depth of divine love was found there. And in both Navadvip and Vrindavan, the background is almost similar. In Navadvip, to gain victory over the opposition party, Mahāprabhu left his household life. And in Vrindavan Leela, it is also similar. The opposition in Vrindavan Leela came from Mathura in the form of Aga, Baka, Putana, Trinavarta, and other demons who were being sent by King Kamsa. To uproot the opposition, Krishna had to go to Mathura. And when he went there, he found that the opposition was widespread. Kamsa's father-in-law, Jarasandha, Kalyavan, Shishupal, Dantavakra, and many others were inimical to Krishna. So Krishna promised the gopis that after finishing his enemies, he would return to Vrindavan to play peacefully with them. To uproot the opposition party, Krishna had to go away. And he told the gopis in Kurukshetra, "I have some other enemies. After finishing with them, I will be reunited with you." That sort of hope was given to the gopis in Kurukshetra. Here also, to conquer the opposition party, here also in Mahaprabhu's pastimes, to conquer the opposition party, Mahāprabhu had to leave Navadvip. Later, after his conquest of all the Indian scholars and the religionists of different positions and creeds, after 5 years, when he returned to Navadvip, everyone was transformed. The mass approached him madly. It is difficult to conceive with what madness the mass approached Sri Caitanya Dev, the child of their own village. The Ganges, filled with human heads. They crossed the Ganges. The whole Ganges, as far as it could be seen, was filled with human heads. They were running towards him from all directions in such a way that the jungles were cleared by human feet. For a few days, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu stayed nearby in Vidyanagar and then went towards Vrindavan, singing the holy name of Krishna. Thousands of devotees were running behind him, digging up the earth to take the dust of his holy feet, and huge pits were being created. For about 18 years, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu led a scholarly life as Nimai Pandit. After that, for about 6 years, he wandered through the length and breadth of India, including Vrindavan. The last 18 years of his life, he remained in Jagannath Puri continuously. For the first 6 years of his sannyas, he mixed with the general public. The last 12 years of his life, he almost retired from the whole human society and engaged himself deeply in tasting the union and separation of Radha Govinda, and many extraordinary symptoms of ecstasy which have never been experienced anywhere, nor even heard of, were expressed by him. Separation can produce such wonderful effects in the body and mind. Yeah, have we ever heard of a case of somebody's joints going inside the body like a tortoise, or the joints being all, what is it? Like, unjointed, what do you say? Yeah. And like that, like, so this type of separation has never been seen or heard of even, except for the Mahāprabhu. Dislocated, that's the word, dislocated joints. Shri Gauranga Avatar. I think I'll read this section and then maybe we can finish for today. I'll see. Let's see how long it is. Shri Gauranga Avatar. Shri Gauranga Avatar has twofold characteristics. The apparent reason for his advent is to deliver the people in general from sin and to give them the highest attainment of life, to take them towards Vrindavan. Vrajalila, by giving the holy name of Krishna. This is actually the function of the Yuga Avatar, the incarnation of Godhead for the age. The Lord comes to distribute the divine sound and to show how one can reach the highest position through divine sound. Still, he had another purpose to fulfill. Once in Brahma's day, in a special Kali Yuga, Krishna himself comes in the mood of Radharani to search for himself. Krishna comes to search himself in the mood of Radharani. He wants to taste the mood of Radharani to understand the nature of her innermost hankering for Krishna, how she can taste the sweetness of Krishna by her mood, and what is the joy she derives. Those are the three reasons. Krishna wanted to have some experience of why Radharani is so mad for him. He thought, what is there in me that makes her so immeasurably mad for me? What sweetness can she draw from me? I cannot ascertain it. He wanted to mold himself in the mood of Sri Radhika and tried to taste his own self from that temperament. So he came as Sri Caitanya. When he conceived of such an incarnation and proposed his idea to Srimati Radharani, we are told that Radharani, on her part, said, sometimes you will madly roll on the earth, taking my name, but I won't be able to tolerate it. I shall cover your body with my golden form. I won't allow you to roll on the earth. I shall cover you with my embrace. So it is said. It is said by those who know the ontological aspect of Sri Chaitanya Dev. I offer my respects to Sri Chaitanya Dev, whose mood and color is Radharani's, and whose inner self is Krishna, searching for himself, tasting himself, and trying to understand why Radharani is mad to taste him, and what sort of sweetness she finds in him. Radha Bhava Dyuti Suvalitam Nomi Krishna Swarupam. Sri Chaitanya Mahāprabhu remained in this world for 48 years. In the last 12 years of his life, he engaged himself with deep attention in tasting himself. Just as everyone is mad to taste sweetness, Krishna, sweetness personified, is also mad to taste himself. Introspection means to know oneself. Consciousness can know consciousness. And just as one can feel his own body or consciousness conceive of itself, ecstasy can also taste ecstasy. This is confirmed by Swarup Damodar Prabhu, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's personal secretary, who is considered to be Lalita Saki, the nearest friend of Srimati Radharani in the pastimes of Krishna. He has said what Sri Chaitanya Dev is. Radha Krishna Pranaya Vikritir Ladini Shaktirasmad Ekatmanav Api Bhuvi Pura Deha Bhedam Katoto Chaitanyakhyam Prakatam Adhuna Tadvayam Chaikamaptam Radha Bhava Dyuti Suvalitam Nomi Krishna Swarupam. So Sri Swarup Damodar has said, I worship Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is Krishna himself, enriched with the emotions and radiance of Srimati Radharani. As the predominating and predominated moieties, Radha and Krishna are eternally one, with separate individual identities. Now they have again united as Sri Krishna Caitanya. This inconceivable transformation of the Lord's internal pleasure-giving potency has arisen from the loving affairs of Radha and Krishna. In this verse, Swarup Damodar says that the pastimes of Radha Krishna and those of Sri Chaitanya Mahāprabhu are parallel and eternal. Whether winter is first and summer follows, or summer is first and winter follows, is difficult to say. Similarly, in the eternal pastimes of the Lord, the movement is rolling in a circle. Therefore, Swarup Damodar says, whether Chaitanya Avatar is first and Krishna Avatar is next, or Krishna Avatar is first and Chaitanya Avatar is next, is difficult to say. Both are eternal. And who is Sri Radha? She is the development of the sweetness that springs from Krishna himself. That sweetness, in a developed form as Radha, springs up from within Krishna. Srimati Radharani is a particular potency coming out of Krishna himself, the Hladini Shakti. So Radha and Krishna cannot be conceived of as separate entities. The two of them are one and the same. Still, we are told that in ancient times they divided into two. And then again, both of them combine as Sri Chaitanya Mahāprabhu, whose luster and mood is that of Srimati Radharani, and whose nature and reality within is Sri Krishna's. Fire and heat cannot be separated. Sun and light cannot exist separately. They are one and the same. The absolute truth is one absolute substance, Advaya Gyan. But sometimes Radha and Govinda show themselves as divided, and again, they are united. When they are together, they are enjoying each other, and sometimes they experience a painful separation without the possibility of union. That is their divine nature. Sri Rupa Gosvāmī explains this as follows. Aher iva gati premna sabhava kutila bhavet ato hetor ahetoscha yunor mana udanchati. He says that just as a serpent naturally moves in a crooked way and a zigzag way, the nature of love is naturally crooked. It is not straight. So the concerned parties quarrel, sometimes with cause and sometimes without cause, and separation comes. Separation is necessary for the transcendental pastimes of Radha and Krishna. Okay, so we made it to halfway through the chapter. We'll finish this all tomorrow. Well, tomorrow we're going to continue on from this point, the pangs of separation, and now it's going to go into detail what the different kinds of separation are. There's Purvarag, Man, Pravas, and Prem Vaichitya, and all this. So, yeah. Now we'll just end with a little kirtan and Mahamantra, and if anybody has anything that they want to share, then they can do so. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Jaya Sachinandan Gora Hari Sachinandan Jaya Gora Hari Jaya Sachinandan Gora Hari Sachinandan Jaya Gora Hari Jaya Guru Deva Guru Deva Guru Deva Jaya Guru Deva Jaya Guru Deva Guru Deva Guru Deva Jaya Guru Deva Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Prabhupada Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Gaur Hari Bol Nitai Gaur Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Nitai Gaur Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Gaur Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Shrinivai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol Jai Shri Sachinandan Gaur Hari Ki Jai Shri Shri Radha Vinod Bihari Ju Ki Jai Srila Gurudev ki jai, Srila Param Gurudev ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Shri Rupa Nuga Guru Varga ki jai, Saparshaji Gaur Nityananda Prabhu ki jai, Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopigan ki jai, Shri Giriraj Maharaj ki jai, Shri Tulsi Maharani Vrindadevi ki jai, Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki jai, Golden Volcano of Divine Love ki jai, Shri Sachinandan Gaur Hari ki jai, Srila Bhakti Rakṣaka Sridhara Gosvāmī Mahārāja ki jai. Shri Caitanya Bhagavat ki jai, Shri Caitanya Charitamrita ki jai, Grantaraj Śrīmad Bhagavatam ki jai, Shri Purushottam Vrat ki jai, Purushottam Dev, Shri Jagannath Dev ki jai, Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Sudarshan Chakraju ki jai, Purushottam Kshetra ki jai, Purushottam Vrat ki jai, Vrat Palan Kari Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai, Samagata Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Shri Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari
Hari
Hari.
Hari Bo.
Vrindai Tulsi Bhakti Krishna Bhakti Pradadevi Sattvatai Namo Namaha Pancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Vacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Dandavat pranams everybody. Hare Krishna.
Dandavats,
Hari
dandavats.
Bol, Hari Hari Prabhu, Bhavatarani Mataji.
Hi,
Satya Mataji.
Haribol.
Hari Bol, Satya Mataji. Wow, I feel so lucky. I have 3 Prabhupada disciples with us in these readings. It's like, feel really blessed.
We're happy to be there.
Hare Krishna.
Lucky to be here or
Hare
there
Krishna,
or
Prabhu.
Zoom room.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Guru.
If anybody has anything that stood out from the reading, like anything that they want to, I don't know, anything that they've been wanting to express throughout the reading, some kind of points that really stuck with them, or anything that they want to share, you're totally free to do so now. Otherwise, we will end for now and see each other tomorrow. So, yeah. Anybody has anything? If not, it's totally fine. All right, cool. So I'll see you all tomorrow. And thank you so much for joining. I'm just going to check the comments on YouTube and Facebook. Hari Bol and Dira Mataji, Hare Krishna. All right. Wow, I just see in the comments on Facebook, I got some advertisement for astrology, and they specialize on, you can get black magic specialist. I love magic specialist. What a strange advertisement. Job problem solution. Yeah, anyways, okay. Get your love back. Oh God, that's so funny. Okay, see you all tomorrow. Jai Shri Radhe. Hare Krishna.